right now, we're waiting to see, we're going to have to talk about our zoning. Now, the company in November could have started, they didn't need us. They could have started digging in November. They had the right permits. And as I saw on another channel's news, our mayor at the time had given them permission. They didn't need the village at that time because he said so and he had that right. Now, since I have taken over, we have been more strict with the zoning rules, with the codes and processes, because we want to protect Endicott from what has happened in the past. So we demanded that they come talk to us, which they did. It took us a while with communication gaps, but they did come talk to us because I was very skeptical. Their answers were very good. They answered all our questions. I checked with a lot of independent people on the same issue, which all collaborated with what they were saying. So I found that they're telling me the truth on everything that I've heard so far. We are thinking of calling in an environmental specialist, though, just to go over the permit one more time. The reason they got the second permit was because of the area being so stressed out from the other things that had happened, that they wanted to prove that it was safe. That's why they waited for the second permit. This had nothing to do with the virus, hurrying it up for the virus. The other statement that they're not working with us isn't true. I have asked them to kind of hold off till we can get an environmental assessment, but my main concern is I would like the Village of Endicott residents to know the whole story. They've only had one person's opinion up to now. They've never heard the other half. The meeting was disrupted when they did have it in November, and the company never came back a second time. So we need to have some kind of a public forum information. I can't do that now with the virus. That has thrown it way off. So the public really doesn't know the other half. There's a lot of educated people out there that will hear the facts and will go check on them themselves to see if it's true or not. And I think they'll all find, like Anthony and I did, and Cheryl, that it is safe. And Cheryl was against this also until she did some very good homework. So right now we're waiting to see with the zoning board exactly what the rules are and how they fit into it. That's where we're working now. But I've asked them to hold off on going to zoning until I can get the public hearing for the people to know the whole facts. I'd like them to know so that when they come into the public hearing, they know more of the questions that they want answered.
Yeah. And I think we spoke about this on the phone yesterday. You're exploring some remote options, sort of virtual options for a public hearing, right?
Yes, we are. This is brand new territory for us. We're working with a person who can do these virtual meetings because we have to do it for our boardroom. We can't stop working because of the virus, but we cannot endanger anyone. We want the public involved, and I think if we do these remote visits, more people will get involved. I think it'll bring in more people's input, and I think they'll know what's going on in the village. I think they'll appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, one of the clarifications you were making was some people have referred to this project as an incinerator, and you're telling me that it's not.
No, I talked to an engineer from GE Aviation, which is in Norwich, so pretty far away from here. And he told me what an incinerator was. An incinerator is when you have an open flame and you're physically burning something. This company has no open flame. It's in a kiln. I let him read all the papers on it because I had the application to show him. He told me it is not an incinerator, and I looked through all of their papers. I do not see once where it's mentioned. Now, they may have had a handout that says it, and I didn't see it, but on all the papers I have no idea where that word came from, but I was using it because the only information I had was on the internet, and I was wrong.
Gotcha. Another issue you addressed when we spoke on the phone yesterday was people's understandable concerns about some instances that we've all heard of with lithium-ion batteries starting fires, catching fire.
That's a big problem. They're not as bad as lead. They're more safe than lead. But I had a man who had a lithium battery for his power tools in the back of his pickup truck, and it caught on fire. We had a lithium battery that was thrown in the garbage over in Taylor, caused that big fire. Lithium batteries, if they're not discharged, are very dangerous. You have these accidents with these electric cars and even your own cell phones, And if they're just thrown in the dump, which is what's going to happen if we don't recycle them, and the whole dump has a potential to catch on fire. What this company is going to do is they're going to have these batteries trucked in. Now, there's very strict laws in transporting batteries. They have to meet certain requirements, and this company will look at the way the truck comes in, and if it doesn't meet the requirements, it's sending it right back out. But if it passes, they're putting it into a separate building, and this building has cement and cinder block walls. They're going to unpack that truck, separate the batteries, and immediately discharge them. Once the batteries are discharged, then they're safe. The problem with the lithium batteries is when you plug in your phone, and some people leave it on their bed, and then they post where their bed had flames on it, it's because it's charging. That's when they're the most dangerous, when you're charging a lithium battery. And this company is not going to be charging anything.
Again, obviously, we're dealing with a legacy here in the village, which understandably makes people extra cautious when it comes to these sort of industrial uses. On the other hand, as we talked about yesterday, I mean, these are factory buildings. They were built for industry, and quite frankly, the village was built around them.
Yes.
So how do you balance that? On the one hand, wanting to make sure that you're honoring people's concerns and legitimate, with also recognizing that you're home to some very unique facilities that might be very well suited for this sort of thing.
That's the reason the company didn't start building in January, because Deputy Mayor Chapman and I stopped and we said, no, we need to investigate this. I even went on TV and said, you're not coming here unless we investigate it. We went to a lot of independent sources to get all of our information. We didn't believe one company over another, because a company, or even Binghamton University, has a lot invested. We went to outside sources. This company is legitimate. We have bothered to do our due diligence, and it does fit what we want in that industry. I have looked at the code, and I'm having our lawyer go through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that we do everything we're supposed to. If we need to change things a little bit, we just might do that, because this company has proved that it's safe. Where our fire department has checked it out too. They have demanded that they will inspect it every 3 months, and I'm sure the company will allow it. The DEC will be inspecting once a year. They said once every 5 years. We said no, once every year. So we have put in a lot of safeguards. We're talking about the sprinkler systems, the infrared system for heat detection, the fire response team. They said, well, we can take care of our own fires. Absolutely not. You can start to put them out, or your sprinklers can. We want an automatic response to call our fire department. They're very close. We're doing a lot to protect the people, but that building was built as a military building. It would withstand an implosion. It's a very safe building. The main problem that people have is actually the smokestacks and what's coming out of the smokestacks. This company isn't using any chemicals to do anything with. They're not using our wastewater facility. They're not using any of that, but they are adding water, and I do believe it was sodium. Am I correct, Anthony? Yes, for one of their processes. And that steam might be going up through the smokestack, and that's what we want our environmental man to check out for us, to see what is going to be in that steam. But there is a fan at the end of these smokestacks. I went to another engineer from here, and he said that fan is so big it will blow the stuff way away from wherever it needs to go. And if that fan shuts down, the whole process shuts down until it's fixed. So there's many safeguards that we have double-checked to make sure are in. But like you say, it is an industrial factory. It has been industrial for many years, long before most of these people did live near there.
Finally, although we can talk about other things perhaps,
that's fine.
But my next question just is, once you have, and it sounds like a lot of your questions and concerns have been answered, but still a few more things to investigate.
Yes.
But once you're fully confident that this can be done safely and moves forward, what sort of opportunity and possibility does all of this present to not only this village, but our area in general, if it can alongside the lithium-ion battery production facility that's planned,
Yes.
becomes sort of a hub for a lithium-ion technology, if not in the world, at least in this country.
Well, that might be a possibility, but the man who's in charge of the lithium manufacturing is very green oriented. In fact, I forgot my notes, but he ranked best in the whole world by 80% more than the very best company in the world. He has 2 other facilities. He wants us to be a green area. That's why we did consult him on this recycling plan. The benefits of having this company come have really nothing to do with lithium or battery. It has to do with a company is willing to set up an Endicott. And the Economic Strategic Development, is that the name of it correctly?
Regional, the REDC?
Yes.
Yeah.
They go out and look for companies to bring here. If they are very much behind this project, and they have lined up other ones to come. So we have a chance of getting very good companies, and not all battery companies, a variety of companies to come here. We have one that's research and development that is discussing a place on Clark Street. If that comes here, I mean, we can see all kinds of growth in the area, and the manufacturing company is hiring 700 people to start, but within 2 years there'll be about 2,000 here. So we do not want to discourage the battery companies to come here. This will be manufacturing, it's not recycling, and they're not tied together in any way. So it does mean a lot for us.
All right, so how soon do you think you might be able to announce some sort of online virtual public hearing on this project?
We need to talk to the people who are going to do it for us, and we'll probably talk to them today. Anthony and I haven't been together in the office in quite a bit to work on stuff like this because of the virus, and everybody's trying to stay away. You see my building's almost empty. Well, Village of Endicott's almost empty because of it. This virus has really taken a toll on everyone. So we're going to discuss it today. We'll probably get with her today and see what we can set up. Because I have asked, and the company is very obliging. The CEO said he would talk to anybody who wants to talk to him, including our other members of the board who weren't able to sit in on that meeting with him.
All right, I'm good unless there's something else you'd like to add I didn't think to ask.
Well, let me see.
Take a moment.
No, I think I've done just about everything. I think I've told, you've asked the questions and I've answered almost everything.
Yeah, they covered what we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Is there anything else we need?
No, I think the discharging is important.
I think that's a big thing. That was
Yeah.
what I was upset about. I think we've covered just about everything.
Yeah.
I just want people to know that the company is talking to me. They are not ignoring the village, that they are working with me, and they've really done more than they actually legally have to. And the things that I'm going to the zoning board for, as far as the recycling department, our company is concerned, we've had Crash and Bash and IBM for over 20 years. ICS is recycling. We have it in town. These people who think they're going to sue the DEC, they can go ahead and sue them, but I won't sue unless I know I can win. And this would make no sense to me because we already have recycling and it's already here. So it's mainly the air that I'm worried about. And I think that's going to be the general consensus now, is everything else is going to fall along the wayside depending on the air. And I am very convinced. I talked to the man from the DEC about the air. We talked to him, last month? Mm-hmm. And he explained everything. He went into great detail. They have done a lot to prove to us that they've worked on it. But to be honest, any new business that sets up, we have to actually see how they physically are doing their air purification. We can't base it on another plant they had in Pennsylvania. It might not be the same. So the fact that this company is in Korea has nothing to do with that. It might be made different. So our DEC is going to check it the minute it's built. And I think that's more important than worrying about what happened in other countries. We need to know what's going on here. That's my opinion.